Welcome back to Raising Ausome. Today I'm here with Amber. She is an RDI Consultant, CIT, here at Raising Ausome, and today we're going to be answering some questions that you guys have for us.
Awesome. Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to see what questions you've got down for me because I actually have no idea. Put me on the spot, I guess. Okay, let's do it.
Let's get started. 3 favorite success stories that you've seen.
Okay, so there's so many. I don't even know where to start. But I have 2 kiddos that I've worked with for over 2.5 years now, that I care for deeply. I would say the first success story would be this little girl that I've worked with for 2.5 years, and she had so much anxiety coming to the center. I would see her every week, same time every week, and it got to the point where she was self-harming, crying the entire session. She was so scared to come there, and that we decided to take it away from the center, and I would meet them at the park. So we'd go to the park, and I went to the park with her every week for probably 4 months. This was last year, with the mom and her siblings. And the first time she saw me, she was terrified. She thought she was coming to the center, and she got super upset, so scared, and I wanted to break that connection from you only know me from the center. So we built up that rapport again, built up that trust, where finally we decided to try it back at the center. I came in on a Saturday with the family to have her come in. It was really hard. The whole family was there. It took a couple hours, and we went into a different entryway to get this try something different. Normally, as you know, everybody comes through the back, but they went through the front. And it was rough. It did not go that well. But after a little while, we had, co-regulated together. She started realizing, okay, it's just me in here. It's okay. We start wandering around. And then after that, the next time she came to the center, it was hard. Same thing. But after a while, she trusted me. She was okay. She was happy. For the first time since I had started working with her, a couple months ago, she left the one room that she would always stay in, and she wandered around, and she would go into the gym. She would go into all the rooms. She would look for me and make sure I was coming with her. Now to the point where she doesn't even care if I'm coming. She's running away. She's like, bye, see you, I'm good. I'm free bird. I want to have my own space. Amber, you can back off. This is my jam now. And mom says that she's so excited to come now.
Really?
So happy to be there.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, it was really hard, and it took a long time. But for her now, after building up all these safe and positive memory bank experiences with me, after maybe having 1 or 2 really hard ones before I started working with her, where she was scared to come to that space, it is so rewarding seeing okay, she actually wants to come here now. 2.5 years later, she's happy as can be, thriving. I'm good. Let's go on my way. Yeah,
especially with the consistency that you guys had trying different things, and because you were saying this is more new, it's fresh, so you guys were working so hard for so long, and now it must feel so rewarding.
So rewarding. Just being her safe person, and mom is so happy, and mom's a busy gal. She's got 4 kids. Her daughter that comes and sees me, she's the middle child. She's school age too, so going back and forth to school and everything, keeping this the same, the constant. I know the last time that she was so scared to come, the hospital played a huge role into it, because we do live quite near. And they had once canceled their appointment to take her to the hospital, and so that also became dysregulating, so we had to build it from the ground up again, all these different factors. Terrified of the vacuum. Someone had turned on the vacuum last year, and that was the turning point as well. We had built up a little bit, and then came right back to step 1, up a little bit, step 1. Now everybody knows no vacuum. She knows this is not the hospital, and whatever had happened previously to when I had started working with her, whether that was the vacuum back then as well, those have all been these big negative memories, with all these positives on top, just squashed it. So she's good.
That's awesome. The consistency and the positive memory banks, I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So proud of her.
Next one?
I would say the next 2 are of the same boy.
Okay.
Also been working with him for 2 years now. He came 2 years ago. PDA profile. he was at that point one of the most challenging boys I've ever worked with, injurious to himself and others. He was not able to do full days at school. He would be taken out early. I would see him 3 hours a day, and he did come quite often. There was 3 of us, 3 mentors.
Wow.
So I believe one mentor had him once, 1 day a week, second had the other, and then I had him for 3. So I had him for 9 hours every week. It was quite a lot of hours. But we started working on, you know, those injurious behaviors, trusting me, because any sort of demand was like fight, flight, freeze. I'm terrified. Like, no, I can't. Working from there to now, even if I mess up and I don't use declarative language, I'm not saying like, oh, hey, I would love it if we could put these toys away together. It's oh, hey, you forgot to pick up that toy. Could you go pick it up? And he would like instantly like go and do that. And so him having that trust in me, he knows the routine. He, he's come so far. No injurious behaviors. He's doing full days at school now too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
yeah,
that's amazing.
This is his first year of full school hours, and he's doing really well at school, so that's super exciting.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I would say like that also ties into, like I had mentioned, the transitions and the routines. It would start off as, because of his PDA profile, we would have like a very basic routine schedule so that it can be easily followed, and it's very like, it would start as table activity. So a table activity can mean so many different things. If I would have said we're going to go and draw, that would have been not happening ever. So I just wanted to get him to work with me and like being comfortable to come and do a table activity together, because that's what we're doing in school most of the day, are table activities. You know, sitting at a table with other kids, you need to, you know, have that exposure. But at that point, we just needed to sit at the table. Like, I didn't care what we were doing at that point. So now I could say, hey, we're doing our table activity and it's going to be this. Or you have a choice, zones or we thinkers. And he can choose one, and he's okay with that outcome. And then he will come over to the table and he will do it with me. I don't even need a timer. We do it until it's completed. Whereas before it would be like 5 minutes, okay? Like, we'll do it for 5 minutes. Don't finish it, that's okay. Now he's okay with completing it. And if it takes him 20, 25 minutes, we're okay with that, because he knows the routine, he knows the schedule, he trusts me. I want the best for him, and he knows that now. So it's such smooth sailing. It's gotten so good. Yeah. Mom's happy, school's going amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that he's like in school for full days and like doing it.
Grade 3 now too. Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Excited and proud for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you please give me a couple examples of how to turn direct language into declarative language?
Yeah, okay. Did a couple videos on what imperative language versus declarative language is. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out, because this might be a little confusing if you haven't seen it. Direct language, you could also say that that is imperative language. So giving a direct demand or command, go put your shoes on, go do the dishes, brush your teeth, whatever that may look like. It's and declarative language is, you know, sharing a perspective or doing something like together. That could look like, instead of go put your shoes on, it could say, hey, we're leaving in 5 minutes. Let's go put our shoes on together. Or I'm wondering what we need before we leave. It sparks, I mean, it depends on the age. It sparks curiosity and thinking for themselves. Whereas if you're doing everything and telling them to do everything, you're robbing them of the opportunity to think for themselves. So if I'm telling one of my kiddos, go wash your hands, go wash your hands, go wash your hands, and he's just going through the motions, he doesn't actually understand why he's needing to wash his hands. He's just doing it because you're telling him to. There's no thinking for himself. If, you know, you have a PDA profile where, you know, those demands triggering your fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, that can turn into like an overwhelm as well. So when you're using declarative language, it helps spark that curiosity and that thinking for themselves. It can look like some examples. Instead of, if you're looking for a conversation, instead of how was your day at school, that is an imperative language statement, because you're expecting them to say something back. Whereas if you were to say, oh, I had a really long day at work, I'm wondering how your day was. Maybe You could say, you look like you look tired from school today. And it's a statement, and if they respond, great. If not, that's okay. They might respond to you 2 hours later when they've had time to think about it. I know when I would process it. You know, you're just getting home from school, and then mom's coming up, or dad or whomever is being like, hey, how's your day at school? What was your favorite thing? What'd you do? That's lots overwhelming. It's tiring. I would probably put up a wall and just go to my room and like chillax. So yes, there's that type of declarative language where you're, you know, wanting a conversation. And then there's the second type of declarative language where you're wanting an action. So putting on shoes, brushing your teeth, doing your homework. So I would say instead of...
Can you, more of like a, I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder, I'm thinking, I notice. And if you're on a time crunch, like I understand parents are like, okay, shoes on, go, go, go. If you can give enough time in between, it's time to put your shoes on.
Yeah.
If you're giving them, okay, in 5 minutes, it's time to go to school. I'm going to set a timer. So in 5 minutes, let's go put our shoes on together, or in 3 minutes, or whatever that may be. And if, you know, those statements are too hard to think up of in the moment, like, oh, how do I frame this sentence? Like, oh, I wonder, blah, blah. You can start by going and saying, let's. So instead of can you, if you're not okay, and I've said this in other videos, if you're not okay with them saying no, don't ask.
Yeah.
Let's. Let's is like that gray area between imperative and declarative where it's a shared responsibility.
Yeah, it's the both of you.
Let's do this together.
Yeah.
Let's go do the dishes, or let's see who can put their shoes on the quickest. A shared responsibility, so that it doesn't feel, even though it is a kind of a command or a direction, it doesn't feel as like triggering for that flight, freeze, fawn response.
It's because like you're in it with them, so it's like more of a connection based.
Yeah. And even saying, can you please? I mean, that's cute, but it's not, a please is, you know, that doesn't matter to, you know.
The cherry on top.
Yeah, no, it's nice. And eventually, you know, I'm not saying throw all boundaries out the window.
Of course.
You need to have, you know, your limit setting, your boundaries. I'm not saying, you know, free for all. If they can't, it's okay. Well, you got to start from somewhere.
For sure.
And especially with kiddos on the spectrum, with PDA profiles, you got to start from like down here and then build yourself up. You got to start with let's, and then hopefully move to declarative language, and then maybe eventually after you guys nail it together, you can go back to let's, and then maybe can use, because now my little dude, he can do that just fine. It's I don't want to make it a habit, but at the same time, like he has built that trust from me for so long. He's been able to think for himself for so long.
Especially the routine as well.
Yeah, where now if I just slip up and I'm quickly doing something and I'm like, oh, can you do that? He understands. It's not a triggering, you know, demand or anything. He knows, oh, Amber's just asking me to help.
Yeah.
So then he'll do it. And you take pride in it. You can make it fun. You can make these declarative language statements, you know, into a game. Oh, I wonder who's going to make it into the learning lab first. Let's make it a race. Kids love games.
Of course.
Right? And then especially with that declarative language, like pairing it with a visual, because, I mean, kids on the spectrum, they respond so much better to visual stimuli than, like, language. So pairing it with a picture, a visual timer, something like that is super helpful for those, especially if you're just getting started on that declarative language journey, shifting it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, for a while, they might not respond to it at all, because if they're so used to being told what to do, go do this, go do that, eat this, brush your teeth, put your shoes on, to suddenly you're saying I wonder statements or I notice statements, they're going to probably look at you and go, I'm confused. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're supposed to ask me, I'm supposed to say no, and then we're supposed to get into an argument. Like, this is not, you're breaking the cycle and I'm confused. Yeah. That still might trigger that freeze response or that confusion where it's like, this is a change, I don't understand. But just like working on that and like gradually saying, and I would practice using declarative language where you're not expecting an action right away, so that then if they don't respond, that's okay. But yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah.
Question number 3, why is food exposure important beyond just getting kids to eat more food?
Well, I know dinner time for a lot of parents is a slippery slope. It's an experience all in one. I've had a lot of families, you know, talk to me and saying like, what can I do? My dinner is such a stressful thing where we all just eat on our own. Like, it's just there's no table, you know, connection, together. Yeah, and I would say the first thing is like, it's more than getting them to eat, but you have to also start from somewhere. So you have to build those positive memory bank experiences where if they, you know, if they don't want to eat what you're making, it's frustrating, but also there's likely something where they're saying like they can't, like I can't the texture, the color of it, if it's touching all the other foods. There's so many things that play a role. And granted, I'm not an occupational therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything like that. These are just my personal experiences. But when you take it so slow and you make it such a safe environment where they feel ready and to try these different foods, or to try just one little piece of corn, it makes it so much better. If you're just telling them to eat your food, you're not leaving the table till you're done dinner. Been there, and I would sit there for a very long time. That's not a positive experience. No. Why would I want to go sit at that table again after that? After I had such a bad experience before. If I'm not even involved in like the making dinner process, I don't have that predictability of what's going to be there for dinner. It comes and I'm sitting there and it's sitting in front of me and I'm like, this looks weird. Yeah. I'm scared.
Smells weird.
Yeah. It's a whole process where, if you make these positive and you give predictability, maybe you have a food sheet on the whiteboard of like, Monday we're going to eat this, Tuesday we're going to eat this. Maybe having your child go and help you make dinner. Sometimes that can be a sensory overload in itself with the smells and everything, but maybe if you start with, helping peel the corn, something like that, where they're involved. Maybe they grab the plates and they put them out on the counter and you're spotlighting, wow, thank you so much for helping me. Dinner is going to taste so good. I'm so excited for you to try it. That's setting them up for this positive memory bank experience. And if they don't like it, you just thank you for trying. Thank you for trying. Not you're gonna sit there and you're gonna eat it and you're gonna like it. Maybe the whole dinner time environment is overstimulating. Is the TV going on in the background? Is the news on? Dad's sitting there watching the news, like just like things like that, right? Turn down the lighting. Maybe have a candlelit dinner. If everybody wore noise canceling headphones or something, like try something different. And try these little things. Maybe they go out grocery shopping with you and they pick out something that you like. And if it doesn't technically go with dinner, that's fine. Just put it on there anyway. And then they feel like their choice and their feelings are heard. Like, oh, I know you really enjoy strawberries. We're having steak, but like, sure.
Why not?
Let's do it. Like that, like, let's try it. Why not? Pancakes for breakfast? Why not? Let's just have this fun environment, fun doing it together, spotlighting these experiences and starting really small. Also a video on food exposure. Not a doctor, but check it out as well for more about food exposure.
Love it. Thank you. Okay, question number 4. Have you ever worked with a kiddo that spat or would spit, and how do you handle that type of behavior?
I have. This is the same boy that I have talked about previously with these behaviors. It was it was very different. I haven't had many spitters, but something like that, it's important to know whether or not they're doing it for like a sensory kind of experience, like if it's something sensory or if they're looking for some sort of reaction. And what I found, he was doing it for a reaction. It was always when he was frustrated, when he was overwhelmed, whatever that may be. The biggest thing that I found is he would get in trouble a lot at school for doing this. So it was a challenge, it was a big concern. And they would, of course, as, teachers and people do, they do discipline. Like, okay, then you don't get this for lunch, or you don't. And what I found was instead of doing that, I gave no reaction. So I gave absolutely nothing.
Just neutral.
I would go over to the cleaning station and I'd grab the spray bottle and I'd grab the cloth. And I'd walk back over to him, I'd sit down. He knew, he was scared. He knew that, you're not supposed to do this. And so I'd sit there and I'd give it to him. And he would looking at me, and he would be looking at me like, what? I go, when you're feeling calm, we'll clean it up. We clean up after ourselves here. And he was, taken back, what? He was, of course, very overwhelmed, very tears, cleaning it up. But after a while, he knew, okay, if I make a mess, I'm going to clean it up. And then also, I could see it often, forming in his mouth. So I'd give him an option. I'd go, swallow it or spit it in the garbage. He'd go over and he'd spit in the garbage. Okay. And then eventually he goes, I'm like, cool, dude. Nice. I like the choice you made. That's a cool choice. I mean, the other one's fine, too, but I really like this choice. And so we worked on that. I don't think he's spit in over a year now. So that is pretty awesome. It's a bit of a challenging one because, you know, it's like unsanitary, or like
For sure.
he has tried to spit on me before, like things like that where it involves, you know, potentially other people. But it was like a feeling, but after a while, him like not giving him that reaction that he was looking for, ensuring he knows that, like, it's a safe space. We have boundaries, so it's going to get cleaned up, and I'm not doing it all for you. We can do it together. You know, I can spray, you can wipe, you can spray, I can wipe, whatever that may be. To eventually him just cleaning it up on his own, to eventually not needing to do it at all. So I'd say, like, yeah, the no reaction, or like stoic face, super helpful. Not an angry like thing, or not an it's okay, like, yeah, I understand. You want that comfort and you want that co-regulation and like that caring kind of composure, but at the same time, like, not giving him any reaction, I think, was what he needed to know, like, okay, like, that's not. I didn't get anything from this, and I'm just having to like clean it up.
And then it's like, okay, well, why am I doing this?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, if it continued on, like, maybe I'd try some different strategies, but after a few months, like, it started becoming less and less, or probably a year after, or not even, maybe 8 months, he completely stopped altogether. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, love that. All right, question number 5. What routines or strategies help everyday life smoother?
I really want to emphasize the visuals. So, like, I have some here, actually. We have wristlets that we use, you know, basic pictures, happy, excited, tired, and then some locations at the back. Visuals to help support, you know, my transitions, routines, whatnot. Showing this and like having it on your wrist all the time, super helpful. Sometimes my kiddos will go and pick it for themselves. And then as well, like, I have my emotions wheel, and this is all for like blue zone or red zone emotions, worried, grumpy, and then like what you can do. So it's an interactive, it's kind of fun because they can spin it and pick for them, which is helpful.
It's like a little game they get to like decide.
Yeah, and making it interesting and like interactive almost.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then lastly, I have this wheel. It's not the zone wheel, so this would be more. This is a very intricate wheel. I would use this with teenagers. It's pretty, looks pretty.
It does look pretty.
Can be overwhelming, so it depends on like the teen that you'd be using it for.
Yeah.
But like supporting this with like any dysregulation, even like especially with like positive emotions too, because you don't want them to just correlate this to negative emotions. But having visuals are super helpful, along with like a daily schedule or something, like a visual schedule. You don't want it to get too wordy, too much pictures, but like having something every day where they see like predictability, they have this predictability, they see what their day is going to look like, super helpful. We also need to ensure that we have consistency. Making a visual schedule as simple as possible, like wake up, go to school, like even if it's that simple, where all the little steps in between aren't there, less overwhelming, especially if, you know, following routines and schedules is challenging. To make it as simple as possible, where if you did have everything listed out and then they did it in the wrong order, that could be like a bit of a challenge. But consistency, and then following through with that too, like the visual schedule, it might be challenging, but if, you know, your boundaries are like, okay, like we don't have to do it, then it's okay. Well, then why would they listen to it why would they ever follow this schedule if there is no boundaries around it in place? But you just want to work your way up, so make it super simple. And then also with like the routines and visuals and everything, I would also say a lot of us will say, go do this, and if a kid says why, it's like, because I said so. And like I would get that when I was growing up. Why? Because I said so, because I'm the parent, because I told you to, whatever that may be. That's not helpful for a kiddo on the spectrum. Predictability is the most important thing, I would say, for, you know, supporting like anxiety. Like anxiety is, I would say, highly due to unpredictability.
For sure.
All these different aspects and giving them a because. Like, hey, let's go to put our shoes in. Why? Because blah, 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 blah. Because we have to go to school. Or just give it to them right away. Hey, in 5 minutes, let's go put our shoes on because it's time to get ready for school. And they're not asking why, and you're not saying, oh, because I told you so. Like, just giving them the why. It's not a power struggle. It's not, you know, it's not nothing like that. It's giving them, they need to understand, like, what they are doing and why and how this works. Like, the unpredictability of, like, well, why am I putting my shoes on? Am I going to the doctor's office? Am I going, like, tell them why. Even though you may think it's obvious. Well, duh, you're going to school. It's a Tuesday morning. It may not be to them. So I would definitely say consistency and the because is super important.
Okay. Question number 6. What do you recommend to increase my teen's self-esteem, happiness, and self-identity?
I think it's so important to take care of, like, teens' mental, like, everyone's mental health. What we work on here at Raising Ausome / Awesome Match is, you know, with little ones, it's developmental goals, it's developmental milestones, it's firsts and all these, like, you know, new things. Whereas with teens, it's that anxiety and the mental wellness aspect of their life where they're, you know, having these different challenges and these different feelings. I would say it's important, and it doesn't matter who it is, but, like, gratitude is so important. It can look different in so many ways. It can be, you know, the classic journaling, having journaling, different prompts every day or every week, something that they're grateful for, a positive memory from this week. I work with teens here at Awesome Match, and we have, you know, different gratitude journal prompts every single week. 2 of them stay the same for predictability. I ask you to pick 3 out of the 6, so you have a choice. And then, you know, for the predictability, they know, like, okay, I have 2 safe options I can easily answer, and then maybe I can try a third, one that's different. But those are, like, highly surrounded by, like, gratitude. It's a lot of gratitude and self-reflection. That can also be, like, a hot potato journal. So some things that I do with my RDI consulting families is to, you know, start building on that connection is a hot potato journal. I know that Angela has done this before too, where you have a journal and it can be between partners or, you know, for the whole family, but you write something kind to someone and then you give it to them on their pillow before bed, and then they read it and then they write something back, and it's a hot potato, so it goes all around. And it's something like, it could be as simple as, hey, I noticed that today was hard for you, like, I'm here for you and I appreciate you. Or it can be, like, your favorite quote or something that you love about them or you're proud of them for, and just ensuring that you notice and that you care. I think that can go a long way.
Absolutely. That's really sweet. I've never heard about that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that.
It's really nice. We do that a lot for the like, crisis mindset and that whole project for RDI, and I think it's super important, and it's a nice, sweet thing, like, for some families that are just so busy in everyday life, like, just doing it once a week, like on a Sunday night or something before you get started on your week, or if it's, you know, every other few days or something, just short and sweet. You involve the family in it too, so they can all see how you treat each other and how, you know, your kind words matter. Absolutely. You go back and forth with the family. I think it's super, super sweet. You can also keep it completely separate between, like, partner and then family, like, have 2 different books. So I think that is a nice, like, idea or option.
Yeah, I love that. That's so sweet.
I'd also say with families, saying, I would say a lot of teens say I can't, but for a parent to reframe that language to I can't yet, it's not you can't forever, it's an I can't yet, or a let's try so that we can, let's practice. The mindset is a very powerful thing. Absolutely. And to have, you know, the tools in your toolbox, say I can't yet, but that's okay because I'm going to try.
Yeah, like, what steps can we take so I can achieve this?
Break it down. Self-care is super important. Whether that looks like the journaling, or it looks like, you know, you take 5 minutes in the morning and have, like, a nice shower. And self-care is not, okay, once every 6 months I'm going to go to a spa day. That's not self-care. That's
self-care
not
is consistency.
Consistency, whether that's every few hours or once a day or something, where you start off your morning or you end at night on a positive note, and, you know, modeling that to your teen. You are your teen's role models.
Absolutely.
So when you're showing them, like, oh, I'm feeling frustrated because XYZ, and you're saying this out loud, they can hear and be like, okay, like mom has feelings too, or like mom's going through this too. And then when you're saying, well, I had a frustrating day at work, I'm going to go take a hot bath, or I'm going to go outside and sit in the fresh air. They're seeing these strategies and these different things where it's like, okay, I had a hard day at school, maybe I can go try and just have a nice warm shower, or I can go sit outside and have a cup of hot chocolate or something, like different things. You're modeling that and just continuing to spotlight those moments for them. I think everyday school and life is a big demand, and it can be overwhelming, so ensuring that they have a safe place to come home to and just be them, and just have someone notice them and be like, hey, I'm here for you. You don't need to talk to me if you don't want, but I'm here for you, and I notice you. So yeah.
Question 7 is how to increase flexible thinking for Black and white thinkers.
Okay, it's a loaded question.
Break it down.
Yeah, I've got a few ideas. I mean, it depends on age, of course, and what they enjoy doing best, but I think this can be adapted. I would say play any game, Uno, Monopoly, whatever it may be, make it more consistent, and then start changing up the rules slightly. So like Uno, everyone's got a different version of Uno. Everyone plays it differently. Yeah. You're arguing regardless. Yeah. You're like, no, you can't do that.
You can't stack. You cannot stack.
You can't stack. You can't. It just over, and you're like, you can't stack 4s on top of 2. It's just everything. You create the baseline rules. You play this, and eventually you switch it up. For some kiddos, that is quite challenging. Others might adapt quite well and be like, heck yeah, man, this is great. But for those Black and white thinkers, having games where you need to adapt to the rules and adapt to the change of the expectations, that can be super helpful. Role playing. So role playing is a bit of a harder one, just because I think on the spot, anybody that's role playing, it's kind of tricky, but it also challenges you too, right?
Of course, yeah.
So I would say role playing, different scenarios. You are, person A and their person B, and you're role playing, and then you switch, and you're person B and their person A, where you're actually acting out these scenarios. Maybe they had a tough day at school, and it's like, okay, let's act it out, or let's role play this, and I'll pretend to be your friend, and like let's see how we can handle this next time, or something. That can be an idea. That would be more with like older teens though. Same sort of thing. This could be more for younger kiddos, like an obstacle course switch up. So you have like an obstacle course set up, and then maybe depends on if they're okay with it, but like halfway through switch it up, or after they've done it a few times, switch it up and switch up the order, or okay, start from the other side now. Try that out. You could do for a little bit older kiddos this or that. You can have this scenario or that scenario, and kind of go from there. So like this, okay, how would this play out? And then with this scenario, how would that one play out? And kind of see which ones they would prefer, what they would be okay with, choosing. I think also having lots of perspective sharing conversations.
Absolutely, yeah. Where
you may not agree with them all the time and almost challenge their way of thinking. Oh, the best flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Oh, actually, my favorite's chocolate. Yeah, but the best one's vanilla. Oh yeah, you see, your favorite flavor may be vanilla. My favorite is chocolate, because I just think chocolate, something. I'm not the biggest fan of vanilla. I think it tastes bland or whatever.
Cookie dough.
I'm a chocolate gal. I am not vanilla. But I would say, yeah, like validating. Oh yeah, vanilla tastes great, but my favorite is chocolate. If they continue saying, no, vanilla, okay, that's fine, just work from there and continue, having these conversations. Oh, I don't like carrots. Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't like carrots either, but I love broccoli. Oh, I don't like broccoli. Just having that kind of conversation, agreeing with them or challenging some sort of perspective that they have, or saying like, yeah, like it's cool that your perspective and your feelings are different from mine, and mine are different from this person's. Just showing them that like there's different perspectives, and there's no right or wrong answer. No. It's just everyone's different, and everybody is it's okay to have a different perspective and different thinking.
Question number 8 was, how can I build a connection with a pre-verbal?
I love pre-verbals. Okay, there's so much personality and like so much connection that you can build. It's just you need to adapt to their world instead of expecting them to fit into yours. And with that comes less language. I think language can be very overwhelming and overstimulating for pre-verbals, I mean, anyone on the spectrum for that matter, it can be quite overwhelming. But using a lot of facial expression, and I know that that's something that I'm like have troubles with sometimes too. It's a challenge. I'm very stoic sometimes, but showing like a lot of facial expressions, you know, nodding yes or no, or maybe pointing to what you're maybe talking about. And with that language, like, you do want to limit it to, of course, I'm not a speech path, but pre-verbals, you know, limit it to, you know, 2 to 4 words in a sentence and slow it down.
So being more like expressive with your body and your facial expressions compared to expressive with your language.
Yeah, for sure. I would say words like wow or so cool or I love that.
Keeping it short.
Yeah,
sweet.
Just spotlighting moments, short, really slow it down. And giving that processing time where if you are saying something, to give them that length of time to process, you know, each word. Every kiddo is different, but if one word is a processing speed of like 15 seconds and you're saying all these words and then you're expecting them to do the action, that's an overload, and that there is no building a connection off of something that it's hard to process. If you say it again, go put your shoes on, how many times are they going to have to process every single word?
Yeah.
For pre-verbals, like the connection, co-regulation, also have a video on that, so take a look at that. But just being in the moment with them and using facial expressions and body language and minimal words, pair it with visuals as well, and just being on their level and playing with them and modeling this language and these facial expressions through play is, I would say it's a huge help. Yeah.
All right. Question number 9 is, how can I build a connection with a child who has a PDA profile?
Yeah, so in case you haven't noticed, a lot of my conversations include PDA. I think that's my niche. I enjoy kiddos. I think they're like, there's just so much more to it than what you're seeing on the outside. I'd say the first thing is you need to build that co-regulation together. It's hard to build a connection without co-regulation. There is no connection without co-regulation. So by doing that, you know, play-based, you know, activities and following their lead for a while, building that rapport, being on their level, being in sync together, playing together, modeling this connection in some sort of way with lots of facial expressions and kind language and patience. I think that's the first sort of step to build a connection with a kiddo with a PDA profile. And I would also say that boundaries and limit setting are super important. You may think the opposite, where a kiddo with a PDA profile does not want boundaries, and they're always sort of challenging those boundaries and those expectations, but they're challenging it because they feel like they can't. It's a you know, like I have said before, it's PDA is an I can't, it's not an I won't. So you need to build that co-regulation and that trust and have those boundaries in place so that then when it's time to, you know, have these boundaries and limit setting, that they can start to build off of that. A lot of, you know, these kiddos with PDA profiles, they need that. It's not a want, but it's a need. And they don't understand that they need some structure like that. And I mean, with my kiddos that I've had, like, once you build that foundation, they're thriving in the aspect of like having that trust with me, doing activities, doing tabletop activities, putting their shoes away. It is a, you know, it can be a bumpy road, but it's a worthy one. It's one that is like, well, you know, it's a huge accomplishment once you get there. And just ensuring that, you know, they know that you're a safe person and this is a safe place to have these overwhelming moments. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel frustrated. And I'm here to support you in that and get through it together. So, you know, you'll want to, in these big overwhelming moments, be on their level, co-regulate with them. You know, you don't want to stand over top of them and like wait for their overwhelm to be done. You want to be down there. Go silent. Don't say anything. Just be there in the moment. And once they start to calm down, you know, you label their feelings, validate their feelings, and then say, next time we can do this. You give them this next time. Like, I understand it's frustrating, but we don't throw toys. Next time, instead of throwing toys, we can try this. And like you can have a wheel, or like the wheel that I had, or the you can get like Velcro stickers. Like when I feel blank, I can try, and you get like visual pictures. When I feel frustrated, I can try headphones, like something, you know, they can pick and choose what they want, so that gives them their autonomy as well.
Autonomy, predictability as well moving forward.
Yeah,
like
and then
you
you
kind of
can
have that in the toolbox.
Yeah, then that's another tool in their toolbox, where when they're feeling these moments, you can pull it out and go, hey, remember like last time when we felt this way? And I mean, of course, rational is not going to, if you're in a rational, you know, thinking state, rational words are not going to help. Like if my dude is already in an overwhelm and I'm trying to be like, hey, remember when we said this? He's not listening. I'm trying to use logic with someone that is not on, you know, the same regulating state as me. So you still need to go down and get into this like co-regulating moment. But if you can catch it before they get to that state, and you can show them like, oh, hey, it looks like you might be becoming frustrated soon. I'm wondering if we can try this now. Maybe we can help prevent them from getting into that state. And if they cry, it's also important to learn how to overcome, and you know, this exposure, and like it's okay to cry it out, it's okay to have your feelings. Yeah, you don't want to suppress that. It's just, you know, building tools so that eventually they can overcome it on themselves. Like
experience the overwhelm, and then once you get over with it, you can kind of reflect on it.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with like the pre-verbals. Instead of expecting, or anybody for the matter, instead of expecting them to come and fit into your world, we need to mold and fit into theirs, and and come from an understanding perspective. You know, PDA kiddos, they're wonderful. We just need to understand them and how their brain works and how they feel in these moments, so that then we can come together with this trust and build this connection brick by brick together.
Absolutely. All right. One last question. All right, question 10, our final question is, what should I do when my child is in an overwhelm presenting injurious behavior such as hitting and kicking themselves or others?
I've had a few of those as well. I've worked with a lot of kiddos, a lot of different kiddos. I think I'm at like 76 right now or something.
Wow.
With that, it's always important to, of course, protect yourself. And there's safe ways to handle these moments, but the first thing you need to do is ensure that no one else is like in their space, and that they're not, you know, going up and hurting someone else. Of course, if that is the case, then removing them from the room, or everyone else from the room, depending on how the transitions are for the other kiddos. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is remove everybody else, and then letting them, you know, giving them space, cry together, you know, cry it out, be together. And same sort of thing with like, you know, labeling their emotions, validating their emotions, and then setting the expectation like, we don't hit people when we're upset. I understand it's hard and it's scary, but that hurts somebody else, and we don't do that. And if we do that, then XYZ, then we can't play in the gym, or we can't play when the so-and-so is playing. It's those boundaries and those challenges are a lot, in my opinion, worse than like spitting, for example, because it's harm. If they're you know, injuring themselves, like taking them to I think it's important to have a calm room where there are no hard toys, there are no breakable things. It's a room with, you know, it's a sensory friendly room. They have cushions and pillows and all soft things where they can, you know, have their moment in there, and then when it's safe and when it's, you know, it's time to be in there with them, to co-regulate with them, and then set those, you know, those limit settings and everything like after you co-regulate together again. But it's very dependent on the kiddo, of course. Everyone's safety is like of course the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And it'll be different for everybody, but I have found with these kiddos that I've worked with, having that room is so helpful. And then also giving them the choice if they want me in or not. Of course, you want to co-regulate with them as soon as possible, but if they don't want you in there, then like sit on the outside of the door and have the door open and wait until they're ready. Like, okay, I'm here. Like, I'll just sit right here. Like, I'll wait. And then when they're feeling like, okay, I want you back in there. And we will always talk about our feelings before we leave to do the next thing, because we need to have those conversations or pictures to show them that it's, you know, it's hurtful or because this. But you're not going to do that while they're in the overwhelm, because they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to hear what you're saying.
Let them experience the emotions and then reflect after.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was our last question. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See ya.